Tell me a little bit about how you got into the industry. Coming on 50 years, that's incredible. Walk me
Well,
through, not the full story, but maybe
yeah, yeah,
some
I'll give you
highlights.
the quick version. It
Mhm,
certainly was not ever my intent.
mhm.
Back in the late 50s, my father owned a bowling alley in Peru,
Okay.
and then we moved to Fort Wayne in the 60s, and he went to work for then Fort Wayne Bowling Supply that later became Classic Products.
Okay.
And so we were involved in the bowling business, but not as a proprietor. And
Mhm.
he worked there for a long time. And then I started there as a very young man, part-time, 15 years old, and full-time at 18 years old.
Wow.
1980, we left and started our own company, then called Mark IV Sales. We were a bowling distributor and we had a retail pro shop. And we did that for a long time. In 1987, my father passed away, and I still had the company up until 2000.
Mhm.
I had a gentleman approach me about buying my company. I had no intentions of selling. I had a good friend that lived in California, but he was looking for an investment in Fort Wayne. He was doing real well, and he was looking to start a business in Fort Wayne. I had another friend who was a proprietor in Fort Wayne looking to buy a couple of bowling alleys, but he just couldn't come up with all the money. So I put the two of
Yeah.
them together. They bought a couple of bowling alleys here in Fort Wayne. And at that time, I had a gentleman trying to buy my company. And my wife said, this guy tried to buy my company. And my wife said, God's not just opening doors, he's shoving you through them. And he
Yeah.
kept offering me more money. And it wasn't enough to retire, but it was enough to take a little break and kind of
Mhm.
forced me to sell the company. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? And my buddy in California who invested the money said, why don't you join us and get involved in these bowling centers? So
Yeah.
that's how I became a proprietor.
Okay.
And we bought two bowling centers with the intent of building the third, which later became Crazy Pins. So that's how I became a bowling proprietor, and that was in 2001. So I've
Okay.
been a bowling proprietor ever since then.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, coming up on
Yeah,
21 years.
yeah, as a
That's
proprietor,
awesome.
sure.
Yeah. And so now do you still work with the other two gentlemen for some of these other centers or?
The one gentleman left us in 2016. We parted ways. Unfortunately, he since has passed away. But the original investor in California is matter of fact, he was my best man at my wedding, and we
Mm.
were great friends. We've been great friends since we were 13 years old.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so we're still partners. And yeah, it's a really great relationship because
Mhm.
it gives us a reason to keep in contact, and we talk every week and we see each
Mhm.
other a few times a year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. I
it's
love
him
it.
and I, and then my son, my oldest son, has a little bit of stock in the company too.
Okay. Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 5 of them a week. Subscribe to get more and to keep learning about what's working in the bowling industry. I'll talk to you then.